Cabinet Office published something last week that's properly mental. It's a 100-page document where the government admits its cybersecurity is, not fit for purpose. Not my words. Well, not exactly. They use phrases like critically high risk and not achievable targets. But when you strip out the policy waffle, that's what it says. 28% of government IT can't be defended with modern tools. They've missed every target they set themselves, and they're asking for 210 million quid to fix it. I will give you a moment for that to sink in. Thing is, this matters to your business, even if you've never touched a government contract in your life. Today, we're unpacking why with Mauven and Graham, and we're going to explain what government's spectacular security failures mean for UK small businesses. Right, let's do this.
He's the guy with the plan for your online life. Keeps your data safe, cuts through the strife. Small biz owners, yeah, this is your guide. Cyber threats, beware, no place to hide. The Small Business Cybersecurity Guy, guarding your world with a sharp eagle eye. Tips and tricks to keep your systems tight. Stay secure, stay strong in the digital fight.
Welcome back to the Small Business Cybersecurity Guy. I'm Noel Bradford.
And I'm Mauven McLeod, bringing the directness government probably doesn't want to hear.
And Graham Falkner's with us. He'll be providing the dramatic research moments that make Mauven question her life choices.
Every single time.
Quick admin before we dive in. We were supposed to launch the Complete Incident Response Plan series today. Episode 1 was ready. Scripts written and recorded, research done.
But
the Cabinet Office dropped this document on Tuesday. And it's urgent. Government's admitted to cybersecurity failures so massive that we can't not talk about them.
how massive are we talking?
Well, the British Library ransomware cost them millions, and they are still recovering a year later. The CrowdStrike outage cost UK economy 2 billion quid. That wasn't even an attack, just a bad update. His Majesty's government says cyber risk is critically high, and they're not achieving their own targets. Not even close.
Right, so our incident response series gets pushed back a week.
Yep, this takes priority. Because the government's failures aren't just the government's problem. They're about to become your problem.
That sounds ominous.
It should. Graham, you've got the document. What are we looking at?
The Government Cyber Action Plan, published January 2026, is a comprehensive 100-page strategic document from the Cabinet Office outlining current cybersecurity failures across UK government departments and proposing transformation through 2029.
And when Graham says comprehensive, he means brutally honest about how badly the government screwed up.
Let's hear it then.
Right, 28%. That's the number that should terrify everyone.
28% of what?
Government IT is legacy. Can't be defended using modern security tools.
Wait, what? I knew it was bad, but 28%.
Yep, nearly 1 in 3 systems across government.
That's absurd. How do you even let that happen?
Years of underfunding. Our old friend, technical debt. Graham, what's the actual phrase they used?
Historical underinvestment has created significant technical debt across government departments, with legacy systems representing approximately 28% of the IT estate, which cannot be defended by modern cybersecurity measures.
Goodness gracious me. Cannot be defended. Not difficult to defend. Simple. Cannot.
That's policy speak for we're running systems so old that even if we wanted to secure them, we physically can't.
Right, but legacy doesn't automatically mean insecure. Old doesn't mean vulnerable.
True, except when the system's so old, there aren't security patches anymore. Or it doesn't support modern authentication. Or it can't integrate with monitoring tools.
So they're just hoping nobody notices.
They're not hoping, they know. British Library got hit. Synovis took down NHS services for weeks. Electoral Commission lost 40 million voter records.
Wait, we covered Electoral Commission. That was China. State actors maintained access for 14 months.
And the security failures? Basic stuff. weak passwords, poor patching, no monitoring. Graham, what did the ICO say about that?
The Information Commissioner's Office concluded that if the Electoral Commission had taken basic steps to protect its systems, such as effective security patching and password management, it is highly likely that this data breach would not have happened.
40 million records, basic failures, formal reprimand, and millions in public funds to fix it.
Formal reprimand. Meanwhile, if a private company loses 40 million records with the same failures, the ICO would fine them into the ground.
Probably, maybe. We talked about this before. The ICO policy since 2022 says don't fine public bodies except extreme cases.
Because fines burden taxpayers, which is circular logic that makes my head hurt. Public bodies keep failing. No consequences, so they keep failing.
And that's exactly what this document admits. They've set targets, missed them. Set new targets. Now they're admitting those won't be met either.
What targets?
The Government Cybersecurity Strategy 2022 said departments would be resilient to known vulnerabilities and attack methods by 2030.
And?
Direct quote.
The 2030 target from the Government Cybersecurity Strategy is not achievable under current trajectory. Departments and organisations face systemic challenges that require fundamental transformation.
Not achievable. 4 years after setting the target, they're admitting failure.
So why should anyone believe the new targets they're setting now?
Exactly. That's the credibility gap. They say they're scaling what works. Translation, we've been trying to fix this for years, it hasn't worked, so now we're trying harder.
What are the actual failures they're admitting to?
Repeated systemic failures in digital resilience, skills gaps across departments, inadequate governance, legacy tech that can't be secured. And here is what will affect every one of our listeners: supply chain vulnerabilities.
Supply chain's going to matter for businesses, isn't it?
Massively. We'll get to that. But first, there's something good in this document. Actually good. The accountability stuff.
Wait, government's implementing actual accountability?
They are, and it's exactly what I've been banging on about for ages. Remember when we talked about directors going to prison for cybersecurity failures?
That 2-part series we did, the HSE comparison, you were advocating for criminal liability.
And you were nervous about it being too controversial.
I was nervous about advocating for sending business owners to prison, yes, though the evidence was compelling.
Well, governments implemented it. For themselves. Not prison, but actual personal accountability at the top.
Personal accountability how?
Accounting officers. That's permanent secretary level, CEO equivalent. They now have explicit personal accountability for cyber risk.
Not just organisational.
Personal. Graham, what are their actual responsibilities?
Accounting officers must set cyber risk strategy, including risk appetite, appoint board members with cyber expertise, ensure escalation of risks outside appetite, receive routine reporting on cyber risk, and account for the cyber security of their entire supply chain.
And they'll be held to account by the Technology Risk Group. There are consequences now.
Right, but consequences like what? Stern letters?
Initially, escalation to Cabinet Office, i.e. being sent to see the head teacher or principal. Potential removal, sacking or termination. Public accountability through Parliament. This isn't voluntary anymore.
That's actually significant.
It's exactly what the HSE does for health and safety. Personal liability at director level. I didn't know stops being a defence.
And you're saying this proves the HSE model works?
Government's implementing it for themselves. That's proof they know voluntary compliance doesn't work.
But this is public sector only so far.
For now. Cybersecurity and resilience bills already in Parliament. It'll cover essential services, healthcare, transport, energy, water, and large MSPs like Capita and TCS, to name 2 topical ones.
So the accountability models being tested in public sector will inform private regulation?
It's the same pattern as data protection, same as health and safety. Government tests on themselves, extends to everyone else. They will no doubt water it down, but it is a step in the right direction.
Which means businesses should implement these accountability frameworks now rather than wait.
Exactly. Make cybersecurity a board-level responsibility. Appoint someone with actual expertise to the board, even if they are a non-exec director. Establish clear escalation routes. Define risk appetite.
And when this becomes mandatory, you're already compliant.
Plus, it's just good governance. Boards should oversee cyber risk the same way they oversee financial risk.
Should, yes. Do they?
Nope. At least, not often enough. But government making it mandatory sets precedent. You can use this document to make the case internally.
Cabinet Office says accounting officers need personal accountability for cyber. We should probably do the same.
And the document requires routine risk reporting to boards. Not "we're fine", actual reporting showing current posture, risks, mitigation plans.
How many boards actually get meaningful cyber risk reporting?
In my experience, maybe 1 in 50. Most get the watermelon approach. You know, the everything's secure, green skin, until there's a breach when the red flesh is exposed.
Schrodinger's security. Everything's fine until you observe it and discover it's been compromised for 6 months.
Pretty much. But this plan could change that. Public sector first, private sector next.
Right, so we've got admissions of massive failures and seemingly at least, actually solid accountability frameworks. What about the money?
210 million quid. Sounds like a lot.
Until you understand what they're trying to fix.
Right, let's talk budget. The government's announced over £210 million for the government shiny new cyber unit.
Which will do what exactly?
Coordinate transformation across departments. Provide central services. Address critical vulnerabilities.
Hang on, this is what NCSC and GCHQ do. And that's enough money?
While the British Library has not disclosed exact recovery costs, the organisation indicated spending would reach several £million, with the attack still affecting services years after the initial compromise in October 2023.
One attack, single institution, millions in recovery. Still ongoing.
And CrowdStrike wasn't even an attack.
Bad update. Cost UK economy £2.3 billion.
With a B.
So 210 million is what? A down payment.
It'll fund initial services or maybe a feasibility study. It is not enough to actually address the most critical stuff. So actually transforming government cybersecurity is going to cost what, really?
Billions over years. The timeline's 2029 for scaling. Beyond that, for continuous improvement.
Multi-year transformation, which makes me sceptical given government IT's track record.
I share the same reservations. Not because transformation doesn't take time, it does. But government projects and budgets have an, shall we say, extremely flexible relationship with reality.
You mean they routinely go over time and over budget?
I mean they spectacularly miss targets, while spending exponentially more what they planned.
Though, to be fair, this plan does include specific milestones for each phase.
Building by 2027, scaling by 2029, continuous improvement beyond. That's better than previous strategies with vague objectives.
But you're not confident they'll deliver on time?
I hope they do, genuinely. Government cybersecurity is national security. But am I holding my breath for on-time, on-budget delivery?
No.
Exactly, no.
Right, but what should businesses learn from where government's putting the money?
Good question. Graham, what are the investment priorities?
The plan prioritises investment in visibility and monitoring capabilities, accountability structures, supply chain security assurance, incident response capacity, and skills development across government.
Those are the areas government thinks matter most. Businesses should be thinking the same way.
Visibility first, then.
Which is a sound starting point, as you can't defend what you can't see. Monitoring, logging, detection.
Then accountability, which we've covered.
And supply chain security, which directly affects SMBs. That's next.
And finally, incident response and skills.
If government with unlimited resources thinks those are critical, what makes you think your business doesn't need them?
Fair point. Right, supply chains. This is where it gets interesting for our listeners.
Because even if you've never knowingly worked with government, these requirements will cascade down. By 2029, 90% of lead government departments must assure their supply chains.
Assure how?
Security schedules in contracts, evidence of compliance, third-party risk management.
And this affects businesses that don't work with government because
if you supply a prime contractor who supplies government, the requirements flow through to you.
Ah, yes, of course.
Even second or third tier suppliers will face cybersecurity requirements they've never faced before.
Graham, what's the actual requirement?
The document requires departments to apply appropriate mechanisms to ensure supply chain organisations understand their accountability and responsibility for government cybersecurity and resilience. By 2029, 80% of new government contracts will include comprehensive security schedules.
80%. That's not optional. That's standard practice.
Security schedules meaning what in practice?
Requirements to meet specific standards. Cyber Essentials minimum for many suppliers. Cyber Essentials Plus or ISO 27001 for critical services.
And proof of compliance.
Not trust us, bro, we're secure. Actual certification. Documented controls. Evidence.
Which creates competitive advantage for businesses that get certified now.
Exactly. When these requirements kick in, you'll be compliant while competitors scramble.
Timeline's 2029 for the targets, but departments will start implementing sooner.
Much sooner. If you wait until 2029, you've already lost contract.
And it's not just government contracts. Every large organisation will tighten supply chain security.
Finance already requires it. Healthcare's getting strict. If government mandates it, enterprise follows.
So what should an SMB do?
Get Cyber Essentials Plus if you have the slightest sniff of any government or public sector exposure. Even if you don't, document your security posture.
Start building evidence now.
Review contracts for security requirements. Understand what proof you'll need. Don't wait for customers to demand it.
Because when they do demand it, you need to produce evidence immediately or lose the contract.
We're working on it, won't cut it. Here's our certification and documentation wins business.
Right, but there's another angle here. Governments admitting they can't secure their own systems. What does that mean for businesses working with them?
If you're a supplier, you need to protect yourself. Government's infrastructure is compromised. Don't rely on their security.
Meaning?
Segregate government work. Different systems, different access controls. Assume government networks are hostile.
That's harsh.
It's realistic. 28% of their IT can't be defended. Would you connect your systems to that?
No. No, I wouldn't.
So businesses need to think defensively. Take the contract, meet the requirements, but protect your own infrastructure.
Which brings us to what businesses should actually do with this information.
Right, let's make this actionable. We've spent 20 minutes or so unpacking government's spectacular admission of failure. What should listeners actually do?
First thing, this validates cybersecurity as board-level risk.
The Cabinet Office doesn't publish 100-page action plans for minor issues. This is crisis at the highest level of government.
Which means if your board doesn't take security seriously, you've got ammunition now. Point them to this document.
If government admits risk is critically high, your business isn't immune. Use their failures to make your case internally.
Second, implement accountability frameworks now. Don't wait for regulation.
Make it clear who owns cyber risk at board level, what their responsibilities are, how risks escalate.
And make sure someone on the board actually understands cybersecurity.
Not has heard of ransomware, actually understands risks and controls.
Third, address legacy systems.
You don't need government budgets, but you need pragmatic legacy management. Inventory your systems, assess risk, plan replacement based on priority.
And don't aim for perfection.
Government aimed for resilient to known vulnerabilities by 2030. They've admitted failure. Aim for good enough and actually achievable.
Progress over perfection. As perfection here is totally unbelievable and would be a vulnerability itself.
Fourth, if you have any government or public sector exposure, prepare for supply chain requirements.
You will need Cyber Essentials minimum and documentation of your security posture, as well as evidence of your controls.
Timeline's 2029, but implementation starts sooner. Get ahead of it. Start getting your ducks in a row now.
And finally, competitive advantage.
Businesses that take security seriously will benefit. The ones that wait until it's mandatory will struggle.
Security shifting from compliance checkbox cost on the balance sheet to a true business enabler.
Early movers win. Late movers lose contracts.
Graham, anything else from the document that businesses need to know?
The Government Cyber Action Plan emphasises that transformation requires cultural change across organisations, with security becoming embedded in all decision-making rather than treated as separate function.
Cultural change. That's the real transformation.
Security stops being IT's problem and becomes everyone's responsibility.
From board level down. Everyone accountable. Everyone trained. Everyone engaged.
Which is exactly what happened with health and safety when the HSE got teeth.
Construction sites and factories used to be really dangerous. Directors went to prison. Sites and factories got much safer because everyone knows the rules, as they are trained to a minimum standard and are fully engaged.
Now government's implementing the same model for cybersecurity in the public sector.
And it'll extend to the private sector through the Cybersecurity and Resilience Bill.
So businesses that implement now won't be scrambling later.
Plus, you'll actually be more secure, which matters when ransomware groups are professional operations targeting SMBs.
Final thoughts on this plan?
Most honest assessment of government cybersecurity I've seen. The admissions are damning. The framework for improvement is solid. And as ever, the question will be in the execution.
And that's always the question with government, isn't it?
Will they deliver? We'll be watching and holding them accountable on this podcast.
Because if the government can't secure its own systems, how can they regulate everyone else's?
Exactly. Do as I say, not as I do won't work. Right, listeners, that's our analysis of the Government Cyber Action Plan 2026. Full documents available on gov.uk. We've published a detailed blog post breaking down implications for UK businesses. You'll find that at the Small Business Cybersecurity Guy.co.uk, along with our complete sources table and specific recommendations. If you're getting value from this podcast, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Helps other business owners find us. Questions or topics you want covered? Email me at hello@thesmallbusinesscybersecurityguy.co.uk.
And remember, the complete Incident Response Plan series launches next week, hopefully. Episode 1 covers building your incident response team from scratch.
6-part series running through Q1. Progressive implementation so you can build capability as we go.
Worth waiting a week for.
Mauven, Graham, thanks for this one.
Critical timing, important topic.
Essential analysis for UK businesses facing regulatory change.
For the Small Business Cybersecurity Guy, I'm Noel Bradford. Stay secure, stay skeptical, and don't trust anyone who says government IT is fine when they've just published 100 pages admitting it's not. We'll see you next week.
Right, before we let you go completely, let's have the quick chat about the boring but necessary legal bits. Don't worry, I'll make this as painless as possible. First up, and this is important, everything we've said today represents our own personal opinions and experiences. These views are ours alone and don't represent any organisation we work for, any employers, advertisers, sponsors, or anyone else who might be connected to the show. When we're giving you advice or sharing our thoughts, that's coming from us as individuals, not speaking on behalf of anyone else. Everything we've talked about today is for general guidance. It's meant to point you in the right direction, but it absolutely shouldn't be treated as professional advice tailored specifically to your business. Your situation is unique. What works brilliantly for a Birmingham bakery might be completely useless for a Manchester marketing agency. We do our very best to keep everything accurate and current, but let's be honest here. The cybersecurity world moves faster than a caffeinated squirrel. Things can change between when we record and when you're listening. So always double-check critical technical details with qualified professionals before you go making major changes to your systems. If we've mentioned any websites, products or services, we're giving you information, not necessarily giving them our seal of approval. We can't be responsible for what happens on their end or if things go sideways when you use them. Some things we recommend might involve affiliate partnerships. We'll always flag those when they come up because transparency matters. Now, if you're dealing with serious cybersecurity incidents, actual data breaches, or gnarly legal compliance issues, please talk to proper professionals rather than just relying on podcast advice. We're here to educate and help you understand the landscape, not to replace your security consultant, solicitor, or IT team.
Finally, and this is important, whilst we genuinely want to help you improve your security, we can't accept liability for any losses or problems that might happen from following our suggestions. Think of us as your knowledgeable mates down the pub who work in cybersecurity, not your official contracted consultants. We care about your business, but we're not your insurance policy. Stay safe out there, keep learning, and remember, when in doubt, get a second opinion from someone who can see your specific situation. This has been a Small Business Cybersecurity Guy production. Copyright 2026, all rights reserved.
Click subscribe and join the ride. Together we'll shield the digital tide. Your business is strong when your data's secure. The Small Biz Cyber Guy, here to ensure. Thanks for listening, we're signing off. Stay cyber safe no matter the cost. The Small Biz Cyber Guy says goodbye. Until next time, keep your day